The unlikely hero. The vast expanse of space stretched out before Captain Zara Chen as she sat in the cockpit of her salvage ship, the Rusty Bucket. Stars twinkled in the distance, their light a stark contrast to the darkness that surrounded her. Zara had always felt at home among the stars, but today something felt different. There was a tension in the air, a feeling that something big was about to happen. Zara was an unlikely hero. At 35, she had spent most of her adult life drifting from one salvage job to another, picking up the pieces left behind by others. Her ship, a patchwork of salvaged parts and jerry-rigged systems, was a testament to her resourcefulness and ingenuity. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. As she scanned the debris field before her, Zara's eyes narrowed. This wasn't your typical space junk. The twisted metal and shattered hulls bore the telltale signs of a recent battle. Her heart raced as she realized the implications. This sector was supposed to be peaceful, far from any conflict zones. "Computer, run a full spectrum analysis," Zara commanded, her fingers dancing across the control panel. The ship's AI, an outdated but reliable system she had lovingly named Bucket, whirred to life. "Analysis complete, Captain," Bucket's monotone voice filled the cockpit. "Debris field contains remnants of 3 distinct vessel types. 2 are of known human origin. The third is unknown." Zara's breath caught in her throat. Unknown. In all her years of salvage work, she had never encountered something truly unknown. The galaxy was vast, yes, but most spacefaring races had been catalogued and studied. This was something new. As she maneuvered the Rusty Bucket closer to the debris field, a faint signal caught her attention. It was weak, barely registering on her sensors, but it was there. A distress beacon. "Bucket, isolate that signal. Can you determine its origin?" There was a pause as the AI processed the request. "Signal origin is inconclusive, Captain. However, the transmission method does not match any known human or alien protocols." Zara's mind raced. Protocol dictated that she should report this to the Galactic Alliance immediately. Unknown alien technology, signs of a recent battle. This had all the makings of a first contact situation gone wrong. But something held her back. Curiosity, perhaps, or the thrill of discovery. This could be her chance to make a real difference, to be more than just another salvage rat. With a deep breath, Zara made her decision. "Bucket, plot an intercept course for that signal, and initiate stealth protocols." As the Rusty Bucket glided silently through the debris field, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that she was about to stumble into something much bigger than herself. The twisted metal around her told a story of violence and desperation, but the weak distress signal spoke of hope. Someone, or something, had survived this carnage and they needed help. Hours passed as Zara followed the signal, weaving through the remnants of the battle. The debris field seemed endless, a graveyard of ships and broken dreams. But as she pressed on, something began to take shape in the distance. At first, it appeared to be just another piece of wreckage, but as she drew closer, Zara realized it was something else entirely. A ship, unlike anything she had ever seen before, floated silently in space. Its design was organic, almost alive, with smooth curves and iridescent surfaces that seemed to shift and change as she watched. It was damaged, that much was clear, but it was intact, and it was the source of the distress signal. "Bucket, scan for life signs," Zara ordered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Scanning," the AI replied. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple life signs aboard the vessel. Species, unknown." Zara's heart pounded in her chest. This was it. First contact. Real, genuine first contact with an unknown alien species. And she, Zara Chen, salvage rat and drifter, was the one making it. As she brought the Rusty Bucket alongside the alien vessel, Zara saw movement through one of the transparent sections of the hull. Figures, humanoid but clearly not human, were pressed against the barrier, watching her approach with a mixture of fear and hope in their large, luminous eyes. In that moment, Zara knew her life would never be the same. Whatever had happened here, whatever conflict had led to this destruction, she was now a part of it. And as she prepared to dock with the alien ship, she silently vowed to do whatever it took to help these beings and uncover the truth behind this mysterious battle. Little did she know, her actions in the next few hours would not only change her life, but would set in motion a series of events that would reshape the galaxy itself. The age of humanity's isolation was coming to an end, and Zara Chen, the unlikely hero, was about to take her first step into a much larger universe. The cosmic tapestry unravels. As the Rusty Bucket's airlock hissed open, Zara Chen found herself face to face with beings that defied her wildest imagination. The aliens before her were tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like liquid starlight. Their eyes, large and multifaceted, reflected the cosmos itself. Zara's breath caught in her throat as she realized she was looking at the living embodiment of the stars. "Greetings, Skywalker," one of the aliens spoke, its voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate within Zara's very bones. "We are the Astrali, and you have saved us from a fate worse than the void itself." Zara's universal translator struggled to keep up with the complex harmonics of the Astrali language, but the gratitude in their voices was unmistakable. As she stepped fully into their ship, the organic walls pulsed with a soft bioluminescent glow that responded to her presence. "I'm Captain Zara Chen," she managed to reply, her voice steadier than she felt. "What happened here? Who attacked you?" The lead Astrali, who introduced itself as Nexus, gestured with a graceful, six-fingered hand. The air before them shimmered, and suddenly Zara found herself surrounded by a three-dimensional hologram of the recent battle. "We are peacekeepers," Nexus explained, its voice tinged with sorrow. "For eons, we have maintained the cosmic balance, nurturing young civilizations and guiding them towards harmony with the universe. But now, a great darkness threatens to consume all." The hologram shifted, showing a massive fleet of ships that sent a chill down Zora's spine. They were angular and brutal, a stark contrast to the elegant Astrali vessel. At their center was a behemoth of a ship, shaped like a gnarled hand, reaching out to crush the stars themselves. "The Void Harvesters," Nexus continued. "They seek to drain the very life force from stars and planets, leaving only husks in their wake. They attacked us because we stand in their way, protecting the younger races they see as easy prey." Zara's mind reeled at the implications. This wasn't just a skirmish or a territorial dispute. This was a threat to the entire galaxy, no, the entire universe. "But why haven't we heard of them before?" she asked, her salvage's instincts kicking in. Surely someone would have noticed stars going dark. Nexus's multifaceted eyes seemed to dim slightly. They have been moving slowly, cautiously, in the darkest corners of the cosmos. But now, emboldened by their recent victories, they seek to strike at the heart of the galactic community. "Your Earth, Captain Chen, lies directly in their path." The words hit Zara like a physical blow. Earth, home, a place she hadn't seen in years, but still held dear in her heart. And now it was in danger from a threat it didn't even know existed. "We must warn them," Zara said, her voice firm with newfound resolve. "We need to gather allies, prepare defenses." She was cut off by a sudden alarm. The Astrali ship shuddered, and the bioluminescent walls flashed in warning patterns. "They found us," Nexus said, its voice tight with fear. "A Void Harvester scout ship. We cannot let them report our location or your involvement." Zora's mind raced. The Rusty Bucket was a salvage ship, not a warship. But she had picked up a few tricks over the years, and more importantly, she had something the Void Harvesters wouldn't expect: human ingenuity. "Nexus, can your ship move?" she asked, already formulating a plan. The Astrali shook its head. "Our propulsion systems were damaged in the attack. We are adrift." "Then we'll have to use that to our advantage," Zara said, a grim smile spreading across her face. "Bucket, initiate Protocol Trojan Horse." As she rushed back to her ship, Zara explained her plan to the bewildered Australi. It was crazy, risky, and probably suicidal. But if it worked, they might just have a chance to turn the tables on the Void Harvesters. The scout ship appeared on their sensors, a dark blot against the starry backdrop. It was larger than the rusty bucket, bristling with weapons that could vaporize them in an instant. But size wasn't everything, and Zara was counting on the element of surprise. "Hold on tight," she called to the Australi as she maneuvered the rusty bucket into position. "This is going to get bumpy." With a silent prayer to whatever cosmic forces might be listening, Zara activated her ship's magnetic grapples. The rusty bucket lurched as it latched onto a large piece of debris, the remnants of one of the ships destroyed in the earlier battle. Using the debris as a shield, Zara guided her ship on a collision course with the Void Harvester scout. To anyone watching, it would appear that a large piece of wreckage was simply drifting towards them. "Bucket, divert all power to shields and prepare for impact," Zara ordered, her hands steady on the controls despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The Void Harvester, realizing too late the threat approaching them, attempted to veer away. But Zara's aim was true. The debris slammed into the scout ship with bone-jarring force, momentarily disorienting its crew. In that crucial moment, Zara sprang into action. She disengaged the grapples and fired up the rusty bucket's engines, using the confusion to slip past the Void Harvester's defenses. With precision born of years of navigating treacherous debris fields, she maneuvered her ship directly into the scout's docking bay. Alarms blared as the rusty bucket crash-landed inside the enemy vessel. Zara was out of her seat in an instant, grabbing a salvaged pulse rifle and heading for the airlock. "Bucket, initiate cyber warfare protocols," she commanded. "Let's give these Void Harvesters a taste of good old-fashioned human chaos." As Zara stepped out onto the deck of the Void Harvester scout, she knew the real battle was just beginning. But with the fate of Earth, and indeed the entire galaxy, hanging in the balance, failure was not an option. The unlikely hero from Earth was about to show the Void Harvesters why humanity had survived and thrived against all odds. And as the first shots rang out in the cramped corridors of the enemy's ship, Zara Chen allowed herself a fierce grin. The galaxy was about to learn that when pushed to the brink, humans didn't just endure. They fought back with everything they had. The Quantum Gambit. The interior of the Void Harvester scout ship was a nightmarish maze of pulsating black metal and eerie, purple-tinged shadows. Zara moved swiftly through the corridors, her salvaged pulse rifle at the ready. The air was thick with an acrid, ozone-like scent that made her eyes water. "Bucket, status report," she whispered into her comm unit. "Cyber warfare protocols engaged, Captain," the AI responded. "I've infiltrated their systems, but their technology is strange. It's as if their computers operate on quantum principles I don't fully understand." Zara gritted her teeth. Of course it wouldn't be that easy. Do what you can. Priority is to disable their communications and weapons systems. As she rounded a corner, she came face to face with her first Void Harvester. The creature was tall, easily 7 feet, with a body that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its face, if you could call it that, was a writhing mass of tentacles surrounding a single glowing purple eye. For a moment, both Zara and the alien froze, equally surprised by the encounter. Then, instinct took over. Zara fired her pulse rifle, the energy blast catching the Void Harvester square in its eye. The creature let out an otherworldly shriek before collapsing. "Well, that's one way to make first contact," Zara muttered, her heart pounding. She pressed on, deeper into the ship. The layout was organic, almost hive-like, with corridors branching off in seemingly random directions. But Zara's salvager instincts told her that the bridge, or whatever passed for a command center on this alien vessel, would be at the heart of the ship. As she moved, she could hear the chaos her presence was causing. Alarms blared, and the stomping of heavy footsteps echoed through the corridors. The Void Harvesters were mobilizing, and Zara knew she was running out of time. "Captain," Bucket's voice crackled over the comm. "I've managed to access their quantum communication network. It's incredible. They're not just communicating across space, but across dimensions." Zora's mind raced. "Can you use it to send a message to Earth? Warn them about the coming invasion?" There was a pause. "Negative, Captain. The system is too alien, too complex. But I might be able to do something else, something they won't expect." "Whatever it is, do it," Zara said, ducking into an alcove as a group of void harvesters rushed past. "We need every advantage we can get." As Bucket worked its digital magic, Zara finally reached what she assumed was the bridge. It was a vast circular chamber dominated by a swirling vortex of dark energy at its center. Around the edges, void harvesters worked at consoles that seemed to be made of living tissue. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for what came next. She had one shot at this, and failure meant not just her death, but potentially the doom of Earth and countless other worlds. With a primal yell that would have made her ancestors proud, Zara burst onto the bridge, her pulse rifle blazing. The element of surprise worked in her favor, and she managed to take down 3 void harvesters before they could react. But then the tide turned. A blast of dark energy knocked the rifle from her hands, sending it skittering across the floor. Zara found herself surrounded, the remaining void harvesters closing in, their tentacles writhing in anticipation. "Any time now, Bucket," Zara muttered, backing up against a console. As if in answer to her plea, the ship suddenly lurched violently. The swirling vortex at the center of the bridge fluctuated, its purple hue shifting to a brilliant white. "Captain," Bucket's voice came through, tinged with what almost sounded like excitement. "I've done it. I've reprogrammed their quantum drive." The void harvesters seemed just as confused as Zara, their single eyes darting between her and the malfunctioning vortex. "What exactly did you do?" Zara asked, not taking her eyes off the aliens. "I've set the drive to transport the entire ship to a parallel dimension," Bucket explained. "One where the laws of physics are slightly different. They won't be able to survive there, let alone return to threaten our universe." Zora's eyes widened. It was brilliant, audacious, and completely insane. In other words, perfectly human. "Great work, Bucket," she said, a grin spreading across her face. "Now, how about an exit strategy for me?" The A's response was drowned out by a deafening roar as the vortex expanded, engulfing the entire bridge in blinding white light. Zara felt a tugging sensation, as if reality itself was being warped around her. In that moment of cosmic chaos, as the laws of physics bent and twisted, Zara Chen made a choice. She didn't run, she didn't cower. Instead, she launched herself forward, tackling the nearest void harvester and wresting its weapon away. As the white light intensified, threatening to tear the very fabric of space-time, Zara fired the alien weapon at the console Bucket had identified as the quantum drive's control center. The resulting explosion sent shockwaves through the ship, destabilizing the dimensional rift. With a sound like the universe itself tearing apart, the vortex collapsed in on itself. The void harvesters, caught in its gravitational pull, were sucked in, their otherworldly shrieks fading as they vanished into the unknown. Zara, clinging desperately to a piece of wreckage, felt herself being pulled towards the collapsing vortex. Just as she thought all was lost, a familiar voice cut through the chaos. "Gotcha, Captain." A tractor beam from the rusty Bucket, piloted remotely by Bucket, latched onto Zara, pulling her to safety just as the last of the void harvester ship vanished into the dimensional rift. As Zara collapsed onto the floor of her ship, gasping for breath, she looked out the viewport at the now empty space where the enemy vessel had been. Did we just send an entire alien ship into another dimension?" she asked, still not quite believing what had happened. "Affirmative, Captain," Bucket replied. "And I've gathered enough data from their quantum systems to potentially revolutionize human understanding of physics. Not bad for a day's work, if I do say so myself. Zara let out a breathless laugh. They had done it. Against all odds, they had defeated a technologically superior enemy using nothing but human ingenuity, a scrappy AI, and a whole lot of luck. But as the adrenaline began to fade, Zara knew this was just the beginning. The Void Harvesters were still out there, and Earth was still in danger. They had won the battle, but the war for the fate of the galaxy was just beginning. With a groan, Zara pulled herself to her feet. "All right, Bucket. Set a course for the Astrali ship. We've got a lot of work to do, and not much time to do it." As the rusty bucket glided through the debris field, Zara Chen, the unlikely hero from Earth, allowed herself a moment of pride. Humanity had just made its mark on the galactic stage, and she had a feeling the universe would never be the same again. The cosmic convergence. The rusty bucket docked with the Astrali ship, its patchwork hull a stark contrast to the sleek, organic lines of the alien vessel. As Zara stepped aboard, she was immediately enveloped in a warm, pulsating light. The Astrali, their starlight skin shimmering with excitement, gathered around her. "Skywalker," Nexus addressed her, its multifaceted eyes reflecting a mix of awe and gratitude. "You have done the impossible. The Void Harvester threat has been diminished." Zara nodded, feeling the weight of her actions settling on her shoulders. "For now," she said, "but there are more out there. We need to warn Earth, to prepare for what's coming." Nexus's expression shifted, becoming more solemn. "There is a complication," it said. "Your actions have set in motion events beyond even our understanding. The quantum ripples are spreading across the cosmos." Before Zara could ask what that meant, the air around them began to shimmer and distort. Suddenly, holographic projections sprang to life, surrounding them with images from across the galaxy. By the stars, Zara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The holograms showed dozens, perhaps hundreds, of different alien species. Some were humanoid, others defied description. But they all had one thing in common: they were all reacting to something. Ships were mobilizing, weapons were being readied, and in every corner of the galaxy, it seemed as if a great awakening was taking place. "What's happening?" Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Nexus gestured with its six-fingered hand, and the holograms coalesced into a single, galaxy-wide map. "Your battle with the Void Harvesters did more than just defeat a single ship," it explained. "The quantum energies released have created a cosmic convergence. For the first time in eons, the barriers between civilizations are thinning." Zara's mind raced with the implications. "You mean?" "Yes," Nexus confirmed. "The age of isolation is ending. The galaxy is awakening to a new threat, and to new possibilities. And humanity, through your actions, has placed itself at the center of it all." As if on cue, one of the holograms expanded, showing a familiar blue and green planet. Earth, but it wasn't the Earth Zara remembered. The planet was surrounded by a flurry of activity, ships of various designs darting to and fro, massive space stations under construction, and what looked like a planetary defense grid coming online. "How is this possible?" Zara asked, her voice filled with a mix of pride and disbelief. "Earth wasn't anywhere near this level of technology when I left." Nexus's eyes twinkled with something akin to amusement. "Time is fluid in the quantum realm, Skywalker. Your battle with the Void Harvesters didn't just cross spatial boundaries, but temporal ones as well. For Earth, several years have passed since you left. They've been busy." Zara's head spun with the revelation. Years. Had she really been gone that long? But as she looked closer at the hologram of Earth, she felt a surge of pride. Humanity had clearly risen to the challenge, advancing by leaps and bounds in preparation for a threat they couldn't have fully understood. "We need to go there," Zara said, her voice filled with determination. "Earth needs to know what they're up against, and what's coming." Nexus nodded solemnly. "Agreed, but we cannot simply arrive unannounced. The cosmic convergence has made all species wary. We must approach carefully, diplomatically." Zara couldn't help but let out a short, incredulous laugh. Diplomatically, I'm a salvage rat, not an ambassador. Perhaps, Nexus conceded, but you are also the one who set these events in motion. Your voice will carry weight. As they discussed their next move, the Astrali ship suddenly shuddered. Alarms blared, and the bioluminescent walls pulsed with warning patterns. We're under attack, one of the Astrali crew members called out. Zara rushed to a nearby console, her salvage of instincts kicking in as she interpreted the alien readouts. Multiple ships, she reported. Unknown configuration, but they're putting out some serious energy signatures. The main view screen flickered to life, showing their attackers. The ships were unlike anything Zara had ever seen. They seemed to be made of pure energy, shifting and pulsating with barely contained power. The Quantum Collective, Nexus said, its voice filled with a mix of awe and fear. We thought they were merely a legend. They must have been drawn by the energy released during your battle with the Void Harvesters. Zara's mind raced. They were in no condition for another fight, especially against an enemy of unknown capabilities. But they couldn't run, not with Earth so close, not with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. Then an idea struck her. It was crazy, risky, and probably suicidal. In other words, perfectly human. Nexus, she said, a glint in her eye, you said the cosmic convergence is thinning the barriers between civilizations, right? Well, let's use that to our advantage. As Zara outlined her plan, even the Astrali looked at her with a mixture of disbelief and admiration. It was audacious, unprecedented, and had the potential to either save them all or doom the entire galaxy. But as the Quantum Collective ships closed in, weapons charged and ready to fire, Zara knew they had no choice. It was time for humanity to take its place on the galactic stage, ready or not. With a deep breath, Zara opened a channel to the approaching ships. "Attention, Quantum Collective," she said, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. "This is Captain Zara Chen of Earth. On behalf of humanity and our allies, I formally invite you to join us in the first ever galactic conclave. The fate of the universe hangs in the balance, and we need your help." As the words left her mouth, Zara felt the weight of history pressing down on her. In that moment, she wasn't just a salvage rat or an accidental hero. She was the voice of humanity, reaching out across the stars to forge alliances that would shape the future of the cosmos. The response, when it came, would determine not just their fate, but the fate of every sentient being in the galaxy. And as Zara waited, her eyes fixed on the shimmering ships of the Quantum Collective, she allowed herself a small smile. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: the universe would never be the same again. The nexus of destinies. The silence that followed Zara's proclamation seemed to stretch into eternity. The Quantum Collective ships hung in space, their energy forms pulsating with an otherworldly rhythm. Zara held her breath, acutely aware that the next few moments could determine the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. Suddenly, the viewscreen erupted in a dazzling display of light and color. A being of pure energy coalesced before them, its form constantly shifting and changing like a living kaleidoscope. "We are, intrigued, Zara Chen of Earth," the being spoke, its voice a harmonic symphony that seemed to resonate within Zara's very bones. A galactic conclave. Such a thing has not occurred since the dawn of the cosmos. Zara straightened her back, channeling every ounce of confidence she could muster. "Then it's long overdue," she said. "The Void Harvesters threaten us all. Only by standing together do we have a chance of survival." The energy being seemed to consider this, its form rippling with contemplation. "Your species is young, barely a blink in the cosmic eye. Yet you speak of uniting forces beyond your comprehension. Why should we heed your call?" This was the moment of truth. Zara knew that her next words could either doom them all or usher in a new era of galactic cooperation. She took a deep breath and spoke from her heart. "Because we're too stubborn to know when we're outmatched," Zara said, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. Humanity has faced extinction more times than we can count, yet we're still here. We don't give up, we don't back down, and we sure as hell don't let the odds dictate our fate. She gestured to the Australia around her. We may be young, but we've already forged alliances with species far more advanced than us. We've taken on the Void Harvesters and lived to tell the tale. Imagine what we could accomplish together, all of us, united against a common threat. The energy being pulsed brightly, and for a moment, Zara feared she had overstepped. But then, to her amazement, it began to laugh. A sound like chiming crystals filled the ship with warmth. Audacious, reckless, inspiring. The being's form expanded, enveloping the viewscreen. Very well, Zara Chen of Earth. The Quantum Collective will attend your conclave. Let it be known that it was human audacity that brought us to the table. Relief washed over Zara, but she knew this was just the beginning. Thank you, she said, bowing her head slightly. Now we need to spread the word. The conclave must include all sentient species if we're to have any hope of success. What followed was a whirlwind of activity that Zara could scarcely believe. The Quantum Collective, with their mastery of energy and space-time, began sending out calls across the galaxy. The Australia added their own ancient networks to the effort. And Earth, as Zara learned, had been developing its own form of quantum communication. Within what felt like moments, but could have been hours or even days, responses began pouring in. Species Zara had never heard of, civilizations that had been hidden for millennia, all answering the call to unite against the Void Harvesters. But the question remained, where could they possibly hold a gathering of this magnitude? It was Nexus who provided the answer. There is a place, the Australia said, its multifaceted eyes gleaming with ancient knowledge. A nexus point where the fabric of space-time is thinnest, the cosmic crucible. Zara raised an eyebrow. Sounds ominous. What's the catch? Nexus's expression turned grave. The cosmic crucible exists in a state of quantum flux. It is everywhere and nowhere, accessible only when the cosmic alignments are just right, and it is dangerously close to Void Harvester territory. Of course it was, Zara thought. Nothing could ever be simple. So we're essentially inviting every major player in the galaxy to a summit in our enemy's backyard. Fantastic. But even as she said it, Zara felt a thrill of excitement. This was history in the making, and she was at the center of it all. As they set course for the cosmic crucible, Zara found herself back on the rusty bucket, coordinating with Earth's newly formed Galactic Defense Force. The quantum communicator crackled to life, and a familiar face appeared on the screen. Captain Chen, the man said, his voice filled with a mixture of respect and awe. I'm Admiral Kenzo Tanaka of Earth's DDF. We've heard, well, frankly, we've heard impossible things about you. Zara couldn't help but chuckle. Trust me, Admiral, I'm still having trouble believing it myself, but it's all true. And now we need Earth's help to pull off the impossible one more time. As she briefed the Admiral on the situation, Zara couldn't help but marvel at how far humanity had come in such a short time. The Earth fleet that would be joining them at the Cosmic Crucible was a far cry from the fledgling space program she remembered. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of preparation, the day of the conclave arrived. The Cosmic Crucible lived up to its name, a swirling maelstrom of energy at the heart of a massive stellar nursery. Ships of all shapes and sizes gathered around it, a testament to the diversity of life in the galaxy. As Zara prepared to board the Australia diplomatic shuttle that would take them to the Crucible, she felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see Nexus, its eyes shimmering with emotion she couldn't quite place. Whatever happens in there, the Australia said softly, know that you have already achieved the impossible, Skywalker. You have united the galaxy in a way not seen since the dawn of time. Zara nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. As she stepped onto the shuttle, she took one last look at the rusty bucket. From salvage rat to galactic diplomat, it had been one hell of a journey. The shuttle glided towards the cosmic crucible, its swirling energies growing larger in the view screen. Zara straightened her makeshift uniform, a combination of her old salvager gear and some hastily added diplomatic insignia. As they approached the entrance to the crucible, a thought struck Zara, and she couldn't help but laugh. "You know," she said to no one in particular, "I bet when the Void Harvesters started this, they never expected to unite the entire galaxy against them." With that, Zara Chen, former salvage rat and now the voice of humanity, stepped into the cosmic crucible. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, but for the first time since this all began, Zara felt a glimmer of hope. United, they just might have a chance. The doors of the crucible closed behind her, and the greatest summit in galactic history began. Whatever the outcome, one thing was certain: the universe would never be the same again.